It's the Health in the Real World podcast. It's time to start the show with Chris Janke as your host. Here to give you everything that you need when it comes to fitness strategies. We keep it simple and easy. It's your roadmap to get healthy. You don't need equipment and you don't need a gym. Just the right strategies to get you fit and trim.
The Health in the Real World podcast is sponsored by...
When I was just 14 years old, I threw out my back. When I was 24 years old, I began to learn about simple, gentle exercises and stretches that could systematically restore movement when your back pain is being caused by sedentary lifestyle. 4 workouts to ease muscle tension and develop core strength. Workout number 1 is the easiest. Workout number 4 is the hardest. You systematically progress yourself through this. This book has been amazing for so many people. I've gotten so much feedback about it, about how it has literally just changed people's lives. This is the book to get. Check it out. It's on Amazon. Help, I threw out my back.
Hello and welcome to Health in the Real World. I'm Chris Janke, and I'm joined today by Shuang Ming. Ming, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really well, and we were just talking about how it's real early for me in the morning and it's real late for you. So I really appreciate you joining me and the opportunity to talk to you across the world. So that's pretty awesome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am from Taiwan, and currently, after COVID, I live in Taiwan now. I was an expat for 15 years. I lived in India, Italy, and then China for my last career. I used to work in fashion retail. And currently, I live in a seaside village in Taiwan. So basically, I surf and I write. And I'm also, in general, people call life coach. So I work with my client to find their alignment with their heart, a clarity about their life, and then support them to really, they can get alignment and flow in their day-to-day life. So that's what I do for a living. Now it's very weird for me to say so. Yeah, because I don't see it as a career as what I used to be, like working on my career. But yeah, like I support people to find alignment in their lives.
Right. What are some of the common things that people come to you for? Is it usually like a specific like issue that they want to solve, or is it just in general?
Actually, most of my clients, they are exploring their spirituality for quite some time, and usually the one key thing they came to me is that they had a hard time bridging what they learned in all the spiritual courses, trainings, workshops, and so on into their day-to-day life. For example, like people do yoga because probably yoga make them feel calm, feel a stretch, feel like connected with their body. But once they are off yoga mat, it was really hard to keep that calm and then the connection with themselves in day-to-day tasks. So I'm helping them to grasp that feeling and that practice, and then support them to implement that flow or calm in their day-to-day life.
Oh,
and the second one is like about clarity. So I'm a key believer that we need to have a really good clarity of where we want to go and where we are in life, so we can put our energy and our passion into something that is important to us. And the clarity, usually people mistaken clarity, they couldn't tell whether it's a society require of them and they are responding to the society norm, or it's really aligned with their heart. Because I don't know about you, but I didn't grew up with education and then a household telling me follow your heart. It's about more like follow your education.
Right.
So if the awareness is not there, people got confused. So they will say a lot of goals, and then they feel like they are really efforting into those goals instead of flowing. So basically, I help my client to get a clarity that's in alignment with their heart, with their soul. If you believe in souls, with their soul, so that they can really flow into their towards their goals, not grinding towards their goals.
Right.
So these are the two key areas that people come to me for support.
So to somebody who maybe grew up, like it sounds like you did and I did, where, you set a goal and you go hard and you work, you're tirelessly and there's like value. I think a lot of our culture sees a lot of value in working really hard. So what would you tell that person? Why is it not necessarily the best way to like just push yourself to the goal? Why do you want to just kind of flow to the goal as opposed to putting in a lot of effort?
I mean, everything takes efforts. We need to put into energy or our time into everything. Even like when we wake up, we brush our teeth, it's time and energy. The key difference is that when we are, in my own belief and what I support my client, is that when we put into effort, do we feel like we are always tired, always exhausted, and feel like we are grinding? Or when we are putting the efforts, we feel the joy, like the animation soul also say you are in the zone. It's a flow. It's the same thing. We put energy and time into something, but how we feel within is totally different. So it's important to find that direction or clarity that it's actually, because I don't believe in grinding, and I don't believe in sacrificing in life. I think my belief is that if we are doing something that's aligned with ourselves, with our soul, with our purpose, then no matter what happens, people will say it's challenges, it's obstacles, but we take those challenges, obstacles or roadblocks in a completely state of mind. If there's something that our heart will sing, is instead of, because my parents asked me, because my spouse asked me, or because my friends are all doing that, so I have to do that. That's the difference. We need to put in efforts, but how we feel when we are putting into efforts make all the difference.
Right. It's what kind of a lot of it probably depends on how you feel about how much of a choice was this for me versus did somebody sort of like choose it for me, right? Yeah. There's a lot of that going on in our world. We, like you said, we do things to satisfy what we think our parents want of us. We do things to fit into our peer groups. What do you find is like the first step for somebody usually? Is it meditation? Is it just finding out what you really want? How do you go about that first step?
Usually for me, it's about awareness. It's about, we will always feel that if we are doing something that's not aligned, we will feel it's hard, and then we are not satisfied overall, or there are a small part of us is not satisfied. We want more, we feel more, and we want to do something else. Usually, more or less, people will have this feeling if they are already in a position or in a space in their life, they are not satisfied or happy. So really, like, dial into that feeling. Don't ignore it and just telling yourself that, it's a reality. Everyone's doing that. It's normal. It's not normal. It's just our society normalize that. It's not normal. So just really dial into that thought or that feeling and then acknowledge it. It's okay that we feel we are not in the right place in our life at a certain point of time, or it's okay feeling that, I actually have other dreams instead of having a really good title and making a lot of, you can have a good title and making a lot of money, but if you are not happy, then there's something to think about. And acknowledge that. I think acknowledgement is very important, because if we don't accept, I don't like the word problem but make the discussion easy. If we don't accept that's a problem, we will never find a solution. So we have to acknowledge we have the feeling first and make a decision whether that I want to stay here or I want to shift somewhere else. The decision has to be made before everything happened. And this could be one of the biggest steps a person can make, because it's about shifting out of something that they are familiar with. And for a lot of people, it could be quite scary into, like voluntarily moving themselves into uncertainties. So feel the feeling, acknowledge the feeling, and make a decision. I think these are the first 3 important steps for everything to move.
Yeah. It's funny because it seems at first glance, it kind of seems backwards, right? It's like you acknowledge that something is like wrong, right? And then or you're not where you want to be is actually the first step in getting to where you do want to be, because then you're at least telling yourself the truth, like, oh, I dug myself a big hole over here. Maybe I want to get out, as opposed to I think what a lot of people think, and when they hear sort of the surface level of what you're talking about, they think, oh, I need to do positive affirmations, like, oh, I'm happy. It's like, no, you don't need to affirm where you are if it's not where you want to be, right? Like, so you're saying first step is just see the truth, right? See it for what it is, and then make steps.
It's I personally, this will be a really big discussion, but I don't talk about positive affirmation with my clients.
Okay.
Because so many people got it wrong. Like, I just need to delete whatever things that I don't like, and my sadness, my sorrow, my anger, delete. But it's not. There are so many misunderstandings of that. I did affirmation. I clear the deserving. I don't like to use negative. I use I help my client to shift from the old beliefs they are not serving them anymore in their life into new beliefs they are serving them. So that's what I usually talk about more. I don't simply use the word positive affirmation.
Right.
I think people get into another wave of depression when they cannot really positive affirm themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So because at a certain point, your body, your body, your mind, it knows that you're lying to yourself. Like, if you're miserable and you say, I'm happy, it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
So how did you make that transition from, you said you used to do affirmations, and then now you're more, like you said, first step, tell the truth, see where you are, take the steps. What's the story in your life? How did that happen?
In my life is that I had a kind of a depression when I was 23. I didn't go to the doctor because the topic wasn't so talked about. I didn't even know there was depression. Only after so many years I came out of that. But I went through a very dark period around, like, the darkest period was probably like 6 to 8 months. And during that time, I was super angry, and then I was super cynical, and I pray every night before I go to bed. I don't need to get up the next morning. So it was a very, very bad place. I could be like, I was very close to find a way to end myself. So that was that. I was in that space. So at the beginning, of course, there was a lot of denial. Like, the world is like this. You never find a job that you are going to happy about. It's just a job. It's about making money, and everyone's telling me I was in a good company, good money for a person who just came out of college. So there are conflicts between how I felt and what people told me. And at the beginning, I was using what people told me to convince myself instead of acknowledging that, no, I didn't sit well with myself. And it didn't work for so long. So I told myself that, okay, my method wasn't working. I have to acknowledge that my method wasn't working, and I wasn't in a really, really good place. And I couldn't stay in that place anymore. Either I kill myself, or I find a way to pull myself up. So I made a decision that I wanted to pull myself up. I didn't think it was normal for a 23-year-old to think there was nothing to look for in life. I was just 23 years old. So I went through a 6 months process, like working on my awareness and really looking into what caused that distress and that unsatisfaction about my life. and I'm here from there. So that's basically my own process of not try to brainwash myself anymore, acknowledging that I wasn't feeling as successful as I was supposed to feel. And I think one important thing is also knowing that I didn't need to do it on my own. Like I could call for help. And so many people like in modern society thinking that calling help or acknowledging that I'm not in a good space, meaning that I'm weak. It's not. It's okay to look for help, call for help. And then that's how I could come out from there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. Calling for help and realizing that, it is not weakness.
No, it's not.
It's, one thing that I just thought of when you were talking about calling for help is, like professional athletes, for example, they have like 5 coaches, right?
Yeah.
Like they have a coach for everything. You're the best in the world and you still have a coach. And, same with us. It's like, if you want to live a good life, it's like, why don't you have a coach, right? Ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I usually say, because I have all kinds of coaches. I used to work out in the gym for 7-8 years. I had personal trainer. I learned a lot of things. I always have a mentor. I always have coaches. So like, people are asking me, so what do you do for people? Why should people pay me? I always say like, okay, you go to the gym, you have personal coach.
Mm-hmm.
You want to learn to ride, you have like riding instructor or coach. And these are a small part of your life. And you are willing to, finding support. But your life as a whole is actually the most important thing. And you think like finding a coach is weird or meaning that I'm weak. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Fortunately, I hope, that stigma I think is dropping, but I think it's still there a little bit.
Yeah.
People asking for help, it's a sign of weakness but I think like when I hear somebody say, oh, I have a coach for this, my first thought is, oh, they must be really good at this now because somebody's been coaching them for a while.
Yeah.
So
me too.
Yeah. That's pretty incredible. So you were 23 years old, you went through this huge shift in how you saw your place in the world. And then you said it took about 6 months and you got some help to get through that.
Yeah.
And then did you immediately start where you are now? Did you immediately start writing and start this other career path, or did you stay in where you were for a while?
It was a very, probably I can use the word magical moment for me, because at the end of the 6 months, because I was in a group setting, and we were invited to kind of share, what that journey of 6 months meant to me. And I went up there. I just said, I'm going to quit the job that I don't like, and I'm moving to Italy. And only when I said it, I realized intellectually what I said. So in my space right now, I always say that the soul is talking. That is actually our higher self is talking. And of course now it happened to me like more and more and more and more, but it was like my first experience of that. So right at the end of that 6 months, I just told everyone I was living in India. So that whole period happened when I was in India. I was living in India, quitting that job. Like everyone said, it was such a good company, XYZ, and got my admission into a school in Italy and started my career in fashion.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We're getting close to the end. I like to give my guests a chance to get in front of, let's imagine you're in front of like a university graduation and you are the keynote speaker. You're going to give a talk about how these new graduates can get the most out of their lives. What kind of principles would you impart? You can go whatever direction you want to go, and give your speech.
So if for graduates, I would tell them that each one of them is in this world for a particular purpose that only each one of them can accomplish. And that purpose probably already show up in their childhood and they were not supported, or they still have it in their heart and it doesn't really fit into whatever education or the social label they are supposed to wear. But they can try all the things what people told them to do and everything. But remember that if that inkling is always there, just go for it. Because that one mission, nobody can do it. That's only you, like the only you that you can do it, and nobody can do it. That's why everyone is special and unique in this world. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Shuang Min, how do people get in touch with you? How do they find you online?
I'm on social media. So Instagram, my handle is Shuang Min, ShuangMin. And they can find, if you are interested in exploring how I work with my clients, I offer 15 minutes free calls. And I write a lot about all experience spiritually or mindset and to get you there. So I have blog, you can find the blog link there. And I have a lot of contents also on my social media. So that's Instagram, and I have Facebook. So Facebook is SHUANG-MIN space CHANG. So basically on Facebook, I have mixed languages because my mother tongue is Mandarin. So I use both Mandarin and English. It depends on my intuition, my mood at that point, or which language I use. Yeah.
Nice. Perfect. Well, Shuang Min, thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining me,
Thank you.
Health in the Real World. I'm glad we got to get this conversation going.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Such a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to the Health in the Real World show. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Visit mycorebalance.com to learn more.